Ronaldo celebrates Messi rivalry, Bale holds transfer talks, Valverde calls to calm, Ribery is punished, and a transfer roundup all coming up in the next few minutes as I'm your host Matt Froelich. You are the Onefootballers and this is the Daily News. So before we start, there'll be no quick update about Xhaka/Emery today because, well, it's dominating loads of news and there's nothing new just yet. But where we did discuss it was in yesterday's TFW, our brand new show that we've launched, so make sure you click here to go and check it out. But on with the rest of today's daily news. And first off, Cristiano Ronaldo has been speaking to France Football about his rivalry with Lionel Messi, saying that it really has made him step up his game and made him the player that he is today. Of course, there's also a load of talent and a load of hard work both on and off the pitch, but both of these players are seen as the symbols of a massive rivalry in La Liga. Both Real Madrid and Barcelona brought us the Clásico, which was so exciting for so many years until Cristiano Ronaldo left for Juventus. Don't get me wrong, it's still two massive teams. I still think it's such a big and exciting game, but the crux of this game was the rivalry between the two. They were both scoring every time, and it was just incredible to watch. Ronaldo said that, of course, the rivalry between the two drove him on during his career, and if you couple that with the fact that he said one day he hopes to have Messi around for dinner, there's a little bit of a loving going on between the two. It's clear that once football is finished for Ronaldo, it really is finished, and he'll disconnect from everything, saying that he won't go into any sort of coaching or management role. So I guess there's plenty of time for him and the Argentinian to sit down. He also did speak about his favourite career goal, of which there have been over 700. Now, with that many, it's probably difficult to remember them all, but Ronaldo said that his bicycle kick against Juventus definitely has to be number one, and who can blame him? But next up are two Cristiano Ronaldo's former team, Real Madrid, who are in danger of losing one of their stars who they actually don't really care about that much, and it's Gareth Bale. It's clear that the feeling is mutual because Bale isn't really happy, Real Madrid aren't happy with Bale, and yesterday he flew into London to hold talks with his agent about a potential transfer in the January transfer window. Now, as what happens every single transfer window when Bale is going to leave somewhere, the problem comes down to the fact that he's on a ridiculous wage and no one wants to pay a crazy amount of money for a potentially injured 30-year-old. We already spoke yesterday about how he didn't want his medical records released so that no one knows about the injury that he's got at the moment, but are clubs really going to be that foolish when it comes to paying big bucks for the Welshman? There are three Premier League teams that he's been linked with. Manchester United, as always, even though that they actually are signing younger players and I don't really think they're going to be in for him. Arsenal, who I'm not sure are going to shell out a huge amount of money for him, plus the fact he played for Tottenham. And thirdly, Tottenham themselves, who definitely aren't going to shell out a huge amount of money either. So the only real option is that he's going to be moving to China. Now, we did see that a bid from an unnamed Chinese club in the summer was made to pay him £1 million per week. But that deal eventually fell through after Florentino Perez actually wanted some money in a transfer fee for the winger. So it looks like all these rumours will start up again in January, so I'm going to stop talking about it right now. But moving on from Real Madrid and to Barcelona, it's been a very Clásico heavy daily news today, and Ernesto Valverde has called for calm and said that he'll deal with any issues internally in the squad. This comes after Marc-Andre ter Stegen's comments over last week's victory over Slavia Prague in the Champions League. He said that despite the fact they won 2-1, they weren't very good at all, and things really need to change in their performances. Valverde has now come out ahead of tonight's game against Real Valladolid and said that people only think about the last few minutes of the game, which were quite poor, and that they need to think about the whole game and the fact that they created some chances and won 2-1. They'll obviously want a much better performance from tonight's game, even though Valladolid have taken points off Real and Atletico this season. The main issue for me is that Valverde obviously has confidence that he can deal with it within the squad, but also if he does that, things backfire and there's more than just ter Stegen who are unhappy with the team's performances and tactics, then he may have lost the whole dressing room and things will be looking very bad for the Barcelona manager. Maybe this is what he's doing. By keeping it internally, it stops any rumours spreading and it stops people trying to figure out what on earth was being said. On the other hand, all the players could come out and then, as I mentioned before, he really would be in trouble. It'll be interesting to see how this develops in the next few weeks. But away from La Liga and to Serie A, where Frank Ribery has made a fantastic start to the season for Fiorentina, until this weekend. So basically, here's what happened. Fiorentina lost 2-1 in the last minute to Lazio. They thought there was a foul. So Ribery, who had been substituted earlier in the game after the full-time whistle, went up to the ref, started remonstrating, had to be held back, and then eventually pushed the assistant referee. He's now been fined and banned for 3 games, and it's really something you wouldn't expect from such a seasoned professional. The former Bayern Munich player has come out and apologised to Fiorentina, to the club, the fans, the players, the staff, everybody, but it's maybe just not enough because he's not going to be there for the next 3 games, especially after a loss when they want to get back on their feet and one of their best players to see is Ribery is going to be there. He probably should have thought of that before pushing the assistant. So lastly but not least, we come to a quick roundup of the rest of the day's transfer and daily news, where Jack Rodwell's trial with Roma has been unsuccessful and they won't be signing the former Everton, Manchester City and Sunderland midfielder. Pep Guardiola wants Real Sociedad's Mikel Oyarzabal to replace Leroy Sané should he leave to Bayern Munich. Joel Matip's injury is worse than originally feared and he could be out for another 6 weeks for Liverpool. And Jaap Stam has left Feyenoord after embarrassingly losing 4-0 to Ajax at the weekend after only just 7 months. So there you have it, all of today's daily news, but let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below, whilst you can click here or here to check out all of the other videos we've got going on OneFootball. But until next time, I will see you guys later.